After our first ride on the Honda VFR1200 was somewhat curtailed by bad weather and the clamour to get aboard the press bike, it was nice to get it back for a longer run, now with the optional hard luggage fitted. The bike has 7,000 kilometres on the clock, has freed up very nicely, and I must say I really enjoyed my time on board. The main difference noted when riding at home, apart from the luggage, was that the bike has developed a few mechanical noises in its life as a demo unit. There are a few whirs and clicks transmitted to the rider by the layered full fairing, but they are only audible at low speed or at idle, and as soon as the throttle is open, the unique note of the futuristic exhaust system takes over. So, for a more thorough explanation, I turn to the detailed release notes that Julia from Blue Wing Honda had placed in the top box. The second bullet point on those release notes states that the VFR1200 FA is a Blackbird replacement and is a sportier, better, nimbler sports tourer. I definitely found it more comfortable than the Blackbird, whose ergos didn't work for my large frame, where I was able to manoeuvre the VFR quite easily. The bars are still dropped and the riding position is on the sports side of the sports tourer equation, but overall comfort, even from the Spartan-looking seat, was pretty good for a big guy, and the Ed thought it was extremely comfortable. We both had an opportunity to ride it during a multi-bike photo shoot for Kiwi Rider, and it left us both pretty impressed. Fabulous brakes, like throwing Velcro on the road, were his first comments after I raised an eyebrow quizzically during a film stop, somewhere on Woodcocks Hill. We spent the afternoon discussing it between camera calls, trying to work out where the machine fits in the scheme of things. The guys that say a tourer needs 400 kilometres from a tank full aren't going to go for it, we agreed, pointing at the 18.5 litre fuel tank. I got just over 200 kilometres before the fuel warning light came on, but I did tend to keep the engine spooled up, mainly so I could listen to it. The fuel range has been the main online gripe with the bike, and it's important if you're looking at this as an FJR 1300 type replacement, but then its performance and character is actually more Kawasaki ZX14 on the sports side of the aforementioned sports tourer equation. It's a rapid machine, and probably ideal for someone who wants sports performance but also carries a passenger regularly, as well as those wanting to do an occasional lap of the New Zealand mainland. It's an effortless bike to tour on, Honda high-tech and quite efficient. That efficiency starts with the liquid-cooled 4-stroke Unicam 76-degree V4 engine, which displaces 1,237 cc's. Honda states that it has a torque curve focused on the low and mid-range, making it possible for the rider to simply roll on and off the throttle while powering through the bends. It's a fully justified claim. As already noted, spooling it up is joyous. It's got a Buell-like propensity to be able to just leave it in third gear and hammer, and it's enhanced by the directness of the fly-by-wire throttle and a very direct feeling shaft drive. Once the tacho needle is far enough around for the servo-operated exhaust back pressure valve to open, the V4 howl really begins, and it's hang-on time. The solid and planted feeling from the front end enhances it all too. It has a 120/70/17 front tyre and a pair of 320mm dual floating hydraulic discs with 6-piston calipers and C ABS on a pair of 43mm cartridge type telescopic forks, offering 120mm of axle travel, keeping it all under control. At the rear is a 190/55 ZR17 tyre and 276mm hydraulic disc with 2-piston caliper, They're great stoppers all round, and they need to be. The bike is as quick as, and it weighs in at 267 kilograms with a 1545mm wheelbase. The rear suspension is Honda's ProLink system and offers 130mm of axle travel. What it all adds up to is lovely road manners to match the stonking engine. I've actually always thought that the layered fairing and overall futuristic styling of the bike was attractive. It's almost a shame to cover up that sparse-looking single-sided swing arm and the rear end with the hard luggage, but the three cases do add pretty good carrying capacity for this style of bike, and the mechanisms work pretty well too. Actually, all the mechanisms on this bike work pretty well for me. The 6-speed gearbox was a breeze, all the controls and ergos worked really nicely. About the only thing I didn't use was the slipper clutch, but should you feel the need to put in a pretty competitive lap time at a track day, then it has all the shizzle to do that too. Overall, I thought it's a very tidy sports tourer, the one that really killed the Blackbird.